3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapple, and this is Hunter. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you lovely, amazing mothers are having a great one. And to my own mother, Mommy, I love you so much. I hope you're having the best day. So I was just going to go ahead and do a quick review here of something that came out this weekend, which happens to be Detective Pikachu, which... Can we just even appreciate the fact we're in 2019 and we're getting a live-action Pokemon movie? That in itself is kind of a trip to me. So this was directed by Rob Letterman, who actually did a movie I loved. One I fucking hate. So he did Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black, which, if you have not seen that, it's horrible. But he did Shark Tale, which was okay. Whatever. Shark Tale was alright. He did Monsters vs. Aliens, which I fucking adored. Why we didn't get a sequel to that, I'll never know. And then he did Goosebumps, which actually was pretty damn good. So, this is his second 90s property he's adapted into a film. And I will say the record for video game movies, Super Mario Brothers, immediately comes to mind. The track record's bad. It's a very bad track record. You have all those Resident Evil films, which are, B movies at best. You've got the Mortal Kombat movies, which were not great. The first one's fun. The second one is atrocious. You've got the Street Fighter films, which were bad, especially The Legend of Chun-Li. We had that Double Dragon movie, which I remember seeing as a kid, and I thought it sucked back then. I'm sure I'd hate it even more now. The Tomb Raider, which wasn't great, Assassin's Creed, which wasn't great. Not a lot of great video game films, video game movies. So I will say for this is about as good as one of these can be, and I'll kind of get into that as we get into the review here. So, Detective Pikachu, it stars Justice Smith, who plays Tim Goodman, who is on the hunt looking for his dad, who got basically blown off the side of a fucking bridge. He is looking for his dad because his dad got in too deep for some conspiracy that I'll just kind of leave it to you guys to watch. And he gets visited by Pikachu, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, which... Again, the fact that we have Deadpool voicing Pikachu, that's kind of a trip in itself. But he's visited by Pikachu, who was his dad's partner, his Pokemon. And they go ahead and team up together to go ahead and figure out what happened to his dad and solve this mystery. So, okay, the things I liked. Ryan Reynolds, he's great in this. And honestly, if it's anyone else not named Ryan Reynolds or Danny DeVito, I think this movie just... absolutely crumbles. It's bad. Or he's great in this. So there's that. Justice Smith, he's good in the back half of the movie, and I'll kind of explain that more when I get into the things I didn't like. The CG for Rhyme City, it is beautiful. I don't know if I've seen things interact with its environment as far as CG, taking Infinity War out of it. I don't know if I've seen CG work as well within the real world since Bumblebee. I thought the Pokemon that were in here, there's when you get to Rhyme City and they kind of showing it off, you see a Squirtle teaming up with a fire department. He's using water blasts to put out some fires. You see this amazing shot later on of these Bulbasaur walking together down this creek. You see a couple Snorlaxes just passed out in the middle of the street, in the middle of an intersection. It's really crazy how you see some I won't say they're Pidgeots or Pidgeotos. I think they're Pidgeotos, but you see some Pidgeys and Pidgeotos. They're flying in the sky. You see Jigglypuff singing at a like a bar, like a karaoke bar. It's really cool how the Pokemon work in the actual real world. I thought that not only that Pikachu was adorable, but this movie pulls on your heartstrings a little bit. I was surprised at the amount of emotion that was actually put into this movie. And the other thing I will give this movie that I think is so important, the people actually fucking cared. This was not a Dragon Ball Evolution, which is pretty much my bar for shitty video game movies. The people who were involved in this gave a shit, which good for them because they should have. I mean, Pokemon is one of the probably one of the most lucrative franchises and properties that we have, period, going right now. And damn, they really. I don't know if they wanted to knock it out of the woods, knock it out of the park, pardon me, but they definitely were like, we want to make this fun for adults, and not torturous, which was really nice of them, because if you've been on the channel for any sort of amount of time, you know, we review a decent amount of kids' movies, and they could have just made this some dog shit, but they actually went out of their way to go, let's put in some adult humor for the adults. Pikachu makes a cocaine reference about, oh yeah, I didn't get that. I don't like white stuff in my nose that often, or something to that effect. And I went, oh shit, okay, that's intense. All right. There's like a masturbation joke, dude. There's some jokes that kind of tilted my head at the screen and went, oh, all right, that will go over kids' heads, but I think that's fucking funny. So the writers, Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit, I want to say Samit, they actually are apparently now they're working on the Tick, the Amazon series, which if you've listened to the podcast, you know I'm a huge fan of the Tick character. I will have a season 2 review up here at some point as well. But yeah, so those are great things about the film. Things I did not like. The actress, I'm trying to find her name. Catherine Newton, who I guess, she was in Blockers. Okay, and she was in 3 Billboards. So, okay, this is weird because I like her in pretty much everything else I'm about to name. So I loved her in Blockers. I really enjoyed her in 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Let me see. Yeah, I've liked her in stuff, but I thought she was just fucking atrocious in this movie. It felt like she really didn't need to be there except for Justin Smith to have another human character for him to talk to. It was just, there was just no chemistry between the two of them. It felt very much like Jason Momoa and Amber Heard for most of the movie. I just felt like neither one of them really gave a shit about each other. One thing I really hated, because I said, you know, I like Justice Smith. I liked him in the back end of the movie, or about 20-30 minutes in. The problem is the first 20-30 minutes where, you know, he's being told that, hey, your dad's dead. He has a conversation with Ken Watanabe, which was really funny to see him in this. I was like, oh, all right. But he has a conversation with him about, hey, look, your dad was dead, but he's one of the best. That's, you know, he was a legend here and everything. And he's trying to actually be there for Justice Smith and, you know, show some sympathy. And Justice Smith is just not about it. He's like, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, can I just have the keys to his place? I was like, damn, dude, okay. And you find out later on why Tim is as pissed off at his dad as he is. And I get it, but there's that point early on where, you know, he believes his dad is dead, and he is just showing no sympathy at all. Like, I get being frustrated because, you know, you want him to be around more, but and it also falls into that Disney trope, the Disney dad trope, which I will admit, depending on the movie, it does drive me fucking nuts. The whole, you know, I'm trying to provide a better life for you, but you were never there for everything. And it's like, okay. It comes across very much like that in the movie. So Tim comes across whiny at points and really selfish. And so it's hard to attach yourself to him until Pikachu shows up. It really isn't until Pikachu shows up that I felt, okay, now the movie's getting going. There is a scene where Tim is trying to capture a Cubone, and and that scene actually made me laugh really hard. But the relationship between Tim and Lucy, I'm happy it didn't end romantic, but it definitely just felt forced and like they had to kind of work together as opposed to them actually developing a friendship throughout the film. Bill Nighy plays Howard Clifford, who's the person who went ahead and spearheaded the whole project of Rhyme City, having Pokemon and humans, living together in harmony, helping each other. So this is what I'll say. If you've seen Bill Nighy and you know what typically happens in Bill Nighy movies, you can pretty much put together what he's doing in the movie. I'm going to stay away from spoilers for this movie because, yeah, I kind of just want people to kind of experience it for themselves. But when we get to where we end up going to, you'll see what I'm saying. Also, if you're a huge Pokemon fan and you're a fan of seeing people, catch Pokemon and battle Pokemon, you only get one real Pokemon battle. It's like an underground battle. You find out that Rhyme City has these like underground, it's like Fight Club but with Pokemon, and so they have these kind of battles for Pokemon, but you only get to see one of them, which they previewed in the trailer. It's Charizard versus Pikachu, and then you get a fight near the end between Pikachu and another Pokemon. What I'll say about the movie is that when you do get the fight scenes, they are really well done. They're very well choreographed. It feels like a live action version of the game. It feels like Pokemon Stadium on a huge or way bigger budget. But I love that. I just wish there was more of it. And then I will say too, the human characters in this, they are really just plot devices for the Pokemon. It's very much almost like the inverse of Transformers, where the Transformers are there to serve the humans. And here, the humans are really here to serve the Pokemon. The Pokemon are the stars of the show. And honestly, that's how it should be. So I can only be but so upset about it. I just wish that Tim was a better human, so I could actually go on his journey and not kind of hate the kid, because the kid was irritating me, admittedly. As far as other complaints, I mean, I know some people might say, well, come on, it's Pokemon. But at the same time, guys, if I'm going to call out certain movies for it, I got to call, this movie out too. I was going into this cautiously optimistic. I was kind of going, this could be crap. It could be good. Who knows? This, I think, for a Pokemon fan, and I rarely do this as far as kind of figuring out my grade, but I think a Pokemon fan would give this an A. I kind of fall between what some people are saying about it, because I've heard some people say they absolutely just hated this and thought it was crap. There was never a point I hated this. I was just more irritated by just the human characters, but way less than in Transformers film, because I know some people might ask that, but no, the human characters are way better than in Transformers film, so that's something. It felt good, but it could have been great, and I think to an extent the writers were playing it a little safe, which I kind of get, because this is your first time taking a shot at a live action Pokemon film. You don't want to go all balls out, maybe the first time, so I understand that. I wish it would push it a little more. This is an hour and 4 minutes. It really did fly by for me, and I think it's the perfect length. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but it gives you enough that you go, okay, you could possibly build on this. So I give them really a lot of credit for that too. So wrapping up here, I'm gonna give this. I saw this at an early matinee with Alea. I'm gonna give this a B. I think a solid B for this is more than fair. I think if you're a Pokemon fan, you might give this an A- or an A. I mean, I wouldn't begrudge you for that. I just know for me there were problems, as I stated. But yeah, this is something I'll buy. I'll end up buying this on like Black Friday when it's on sale for $12 or whatever. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this though. I will say too, kids were quiet in my theater. I was shocked at how quiet those kids were. I mean, and they were respectful. They were laughing. They were cheering, and yeah, it really is a lot of fun. I will say too, Gengar. They show Gengar. They show they showed Gengar, and he freaked me out. I was like, oh shit, that's actually like a cool, creepy design for the live action version. And they do something with one Pokemon that is integral to the plot that I went, you know what, that was clever. I actually had to give the movie a lot of credit, and I don't want to say the Pokemon because then you can probably figure out most of the plot. So, but yeah, this is a solid B for me. Really enjoyed this, and I have to end this on kind of a negative note, but there was this one lady, and I didn't get her name. If I did, trust me, I'd say it right now. But she had the nerve. She was walking past the theater, so me and Alea and everyone, our theater gets out. And this lady just walks by the door and goes, ugh, Pokemon, Detective Pikachu. That looks stupid. And she was heading into the hustle. So, you're dumb. Why are you trying to ruin kids' joy when they actually get a good movie, you selfish asshole? So, yeah, that lady sucks. So, just throwing that out there. But, yeah, go see this, guys. If you're a parent, take your kids to go see this. I think there's enough here that you'll be entertained, and there's enough for your kids that they'll be fans, even if you're a casual Pokemon fan like I am. So, guys, have you seen Detective Pikachu? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. You can follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud at The Real Pineapple. You can like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Nearmanthefirst. You can follow Colin on Twitter at Theeloneal. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, Sad Guy Studios. That's STADTGEIST Studio on Instagram at StadGeist.studio, and use the code REALP2019 for 10% off your order. You guys are welcome. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this week for John Wick 3, hell yes, and we'll review up as well for the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I'm starting to go ahead and review the Spider-Man flicks leading up to Spider-Man Far From Home, and I'm excited for that. So guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.